Yo, 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 yo. Let's go. Let's go. It's the Great Debate Show with your hosts, Jarvis Jeffries, Terrence Smith, Nick Ely. We are back again up in this biatch for another one. Season 5, Episode 5. We're here to give you a recap of the past two games here from Thursday night and Friday night football in Brazil. Eagles, Packers just ended. We're live at you right now. Podbean, and this will also be going up on YouTube shortly after. We are available wherever you get your podcasts. Rate, review, and follow so you can be notified each and every time a new episode is up. And we're up right now. Ravens and Chiefs last night. We're going to get to that in a minute. Talk about Lamar Jackson. And I know I said a lot of things about him. I really was taking up for him. Well, we're going to get into the Ravens and the Chiefs in a minute. But first, Eagles, Packers. The Packers ended the season last year on a good note. The Eagles, not so good. So, we kind of had that flip-flop this time as they opened the season up against each other in Brazil. The Eagles, I'm sure, are glad to leave there. A little bit of a scare for Jordan Love toward the end of the game, but we think he'll be fine. Somebody kind of fell on his leg, his ankle, and he was down for a minute, and he couldn't play the last snap or the final 2 snaps of the game. Their season is automatically over with if he couldn't play for an extended period of time because Malik Willis just isn't it. Titans even traded him away. Yeah, that's if he's the backup. That's what type of season it would be for Green Bay. But we hope everything is fine. First, let's get into this, but we're going to ask Nick and Terrence how they're doing. I know Nick is doing great tonight. How y'all doing, guys?
It is week 1, and I already get to say I have the only 1-0 team on this podcast.
Yes, you
Happens
are.
every year, man. It's been like every year since I've been here.
Yeah.
It does. No,
Sorry,
it
Terrence.
literally does happen every year. It is what it is. I'm okay. I'm okay.
All right. Well, we're going to get it started right now. Let's get to it then, Nick. This is your team, the Philadelphia Eagles. You're the NFC guy. The Packers and the Eagles played tonight on Peacock. Was it Peacock? Yeah, Peacock.
Yep.
And this was starting to look like a shootout, and then we finally started to get some defensive stops. Both teams kind of had their way up the middle, though, in the run. A few turnovers here and there, though, kept certain teams in it. The field was terrible. Maybe they got some better cleats though in the second half because I didn't see as much, slips and falls as I did in the first half. But that field looked absolutely trash, and it messed up a lot of people's time, and it hurt a few things. Luckily, it wasn't as bad in the second half, and hey, we got the game over with, and everybody's pretty healthy. Nick, give us your take on the game. The Philadelphia Eagles get the win. They beat the Green Bay Packers 31-26. 34-29, I think. I'm sorry.
34-29, you got it.
Just give us your take on the game, what you think about your Eagles and everything. I'll get into what I said later, but just tell us what you think of the game and how impressed you were with your team. And again, this is week 1. Everything that we say, we're going to try not to overreact, ladies and gentlemen. It's just week 1, and I hate to say it, it's kind of like the final preseason game because nobody plays preseason anymore. Not taking up or making excuses for anybody, but that's pretty much what it is. Nick, give us your take on the Eagles and Packers. Congratulations on your win, and you're 1-0.
Well, I'll be honest. Feel pretty good. Beginning of the game, as I told y'all in the group, I was shaking a little bit. Like, all right, we started two drives, 2 turnovers. What's going on, brother? Like, did we practice in the offseason? What we've been doing? What's up? Then the third drive we got it. We went down the field. We scored a touchdown. We started to settle in. And so then I started to see the motion, and I started to see the concept of what we was doing and how we're misdirecting guys and how we're creating the matchups that we want and how A.J. Brown was able to eat all over Jair Alexander, who some would argue is in the conversation with best corner in the league, although a couple guys just definitely passed him in salary for sure on that cornerback market here in the last 2 days. Don't know if y'all saw that with Pat Surtain and Jalen Ramsey, both getting re-up there. But Jay Alexander certainly is in that class, but he for a decent bit of the game, he did not look like it tonight. AJ Brown seemed to outclass him. Devontae Smith made some big clutch catches for us. Saquon Barkley, obviously an Eagles debut, 3-touchdown game. That was great. Like I said, things settled in. The defense really kept us in it in the beginning. After those couple of turnovers, we held them to field goals both times. That was huge. Obviously, that ended up being huge down the stretch with a 5-point win there. The missed field goal the Packers had, that ended up being huge. Like I said, the Packers are a very good team. I think that there's definitely potential that we could see them again down the road in the playoffs. They're going to be a problem for a lot of teams. Overall, I'd probably rate us a B minus. I rate 0.5 B minus. Definitely some work to do. Obviously, like I said, a slow start. We got some things to clean up. For a opening night, new coordinator, new big time weapon like Saquon being integrated, I'll be lenient and say B minus, C plus B minus.
Okay. All right.
That actually sounds pretty tough, Nick.
Sounds pretty fair. A little tough. I'm surprised too, but I think that's an honest,
Yeah.
realistic a take from Nick. I'm proud of you, man.
Oh, you ain't gotta sound so shocked.
Hey, look, I think what we saw honestly is Green Bay still has not grown up. Those are still a lot of
I
young
can get with that.
players, and there's still a lot of plays, in my opinion, they left on the field. They made some big plays on defense, and the offense just couldn't capitalize on them. They could not get in the end zone when it mattered. They missed a field goal. They left a lot of, let me rephrase it, they left a lot of points out there. And you're not going to beat a team as good as the Eagles if you keep leaving points out there. And in my opinion, that was just a difference in the game. That's it. One team got touchdowns, the other team didn't, and they settled for field goals, or they didn't get anything. And you lose that game. So I think Green Bay still has a lot of growing up to do, but unfortunately, they don't have a lot of time to do it. All those guys are on rookie contracts. We know how the salary cap plays out. All those guys are gonna have to get paid around the same time. Somebody's got to go. But for this season, I don't want to overreact, but it just seems like Green Bay to me has not grown up from the end of last season, which Jarvis, you talked about it, how they pretty much outplayed the 49ers, but they left points out there, they left plays out there, and you lose those games against good teams.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Terrence. And Jordan Love left a few plays out there too. I gotta call it as it is with all the quarterbacks, and I'm gonna call them out, even though it's just week one. You never have any complaints about Patrick Mahomes. You never have any complaints about what he does. He does damn near everything right, even though he did have a turnover last night. We'll get to that in a moment. But Terrence, that's a good approach to a good take as to what you're saying as far as the Green Bay Packers and how they just quite haven't grown up yet, and you may be on to something there. It took a while for Josh Jacobs to get involved. I mean, to get really going. Same thing for Derrick Henry. He didn't have a good night last night either. We'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, just it's week one. They're knocking the dust off, man. I just think they're getting the cobwebs off. These are, it seems like, experimental games, quarters, drives, snaps. It's just, hey, look, we just need to get some reps, and let's see how this looks. Let's see how that looks, and I think it's still a process, for some of these teams with their new teams who didn't have great nights in their debut, back to back as far as the running backs go. Yeah, yeah, they left some things on the field. Maybe they hadn't quite matured yet, T. And again, everything that Nick said is okay. I'll even go as farther to say that I would say the Eagles, even though this was week one, and you can see the rust, you can see some of the, there's not a lot of continuity with some of the guys, but Saquon did exactly what I said that he doesn't really do good at, and that's run north and south. They
Oh,
had
so
a
yeah,
lot of
Saquon was certainly the bright spot for sure. He was the
definitely,
brightest star for us tonight, absolutely.
definitely. And how ironic how he had 3 touchdowns in his first game as an Eagle. That's exactly what Terrell Owens did as he debuted as an Eagle. Three
Did
touchdowns against the Giants back in '04. Yeah, those are those threes that I Never mind. I'm going into somewhere else with the gematria and stuff. But
You
again,
told me that.
I wouldn't have told you he would have got 3 touchdowns. I didn't see that coming because AJ Brown didn't do it, so it wasn't on my mind to say he's going to do what T.O. did. No, I expected AJ Brown to do it. I don't think he had 3 touchdowns on his opening game. I don't think. So anyway, I was going to say that they deserve a B plus. I almost want to say A minus just because I think Green Bay is still going to be a good team, and I
Yeah.
think that Philadelphia is going to get even better. Like AJ Brown just said, as you saw post game, they got a few things to clean up, but sky's the limit once they get all of that straight. I mean, I'm not a fan of Kellen Moore. Once again, at some point against certain teams and certain personnel, this is going to harm the Philadelphia Eagles offense because too much 5 wide, too much spread offense. He just doesn't like to balance
Honestly,
it
I
out.
disagree with that. I disagree with that. And I haven't looked at the numbers to see how many rushing attempts we actually had, but I felt like there were times I felt like he almost was too dedicated to the run.
I don't
I
know.
was actually
I can
I
see that. I thought he could have gotten it a lot more than what he did. Maybe not a lot more, but I expected more, especially when they had the 2-point lead. It was like, okay, I get you're trying to end the game, but it was almost like a regular Madden player who doesn't want to play situational football, just run football. And he got away from it at times. He would go back to it, but he would get away from it a
but
little too much.
even late we were running the ball.
Yeah.
Our balance there and see kind of what the play distribution was. But I just watching the game, I got the feel that we had a very good balance.
Okay. We got most of that. You got really clear, Nick, for a minute, and then you kind of went back out. But yeah, let's hopefully we get that right. Hopefully everybody heard Nick on that. I agree. It's just that I thought that as successful as they were, the way they were kind of having their way with some of the runs up the middle with Saquon, they could have done that more. They could have. This probably would have gotten ugly had they stuck with it a little bit. But it overall still a good game. I was a little impressed. I'm not gonna lie with what I saw from Philadelphia because it was looking worse than what I predicted for it to look and what I expected to look early on. And then they got it together, put some good drives together.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you if you remember this big swing point in the game was the drop N'Kobe Dean interception because that would have been a pick six. Then the next play, Jordan Love his Jaden Reed going on the crossing route for the big touchdown. So that's a 14-point swing right there. If Kobe Dean takes that, I mean he
Yeah.
could have walked backwards into the end zone and nobody
But
would have
that was
caught
the
him.
field.
He was that far
But
gone.
but that was the bad field again that caused Jordan Love to slip. He had just slipped as he was releasing that throw. That field was really hard. It was really doing some harm to both teams.
Maybe.
On both
Yeah,
sides.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
that was
that
definitely
definitely could have
an
been a
element
gap.
of the game for sure. But yeah, I mean, he had an opportunity there to change the game, and it's unfortunate we didn't make it. Like I said, right behind that, they go get the touchdown. But I'm glad we stuck it out. Like I said, B minus C plus. I think there's some things we can clean up and be a lot better, be a lot smoother, and really be a problem for some teams later on.
Gotcha. Well, good win and
Yeah, I
congratulations
agree.
to
I, I
Week
think
One.
I think the Eagles are good.
Don't want to overreact again, but they did look pretty
Yep.
good, and I'm sure there's more to come from that. Nick Sirianni, look, if they get wins like this, Nick is absolutely right. There will not be much of a hot seat when you're getting wins. And that did look pretty good because I think Green Bay's still going to be pretty good. I think the Ravens are still going to be pretty good. It's just look who they were going up against. All right. So, Nick's Eagles win. They're 1-0. He gets the first win of the season yet again. Last year, though, the Eagles were 10-1, and then they somehow finished 1-6 in their last 7. Not saying that's going to happen again, but hey, let's see. Saquon is a pleasant surprise, though, for the Eagles. I actually was one to think that DeAndre Swift should still be an Eagle. I thought the way he runs and his physicality and the way he picks up blocks, I thought that he was more complete of a back. even though he's not as elusive or dynamic as Saquon. We know. Sometimes it just seems like you got to scheme Saquon to get someone to play, like the touchdown pass that he had coming out of the backfield. But again, Kellen Moore's not bad. It's just sometimes he just gets too carried away with his spread and his throwing, and he just gets to slinging it. And when he's got talent, he really can sling it. All right, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. A few turnovers by Jalen Hurts, a turnover by Jordan Love, but it's week one. I think every quarterback, franchise quarterback that is, kind of, got that out of their system. Now let's continue on with the season. And that's pretty much a few week one foes. I mean, a few week one pranks, I guess you could say. It's kind of like what they do in practice. Okay, so we're going to move on. The Eagles beat the Packers. Packers are 1-1. Eagles are 1-0 to get started. And both teams now going to have them a nice little rest going into week two since they got an early start. We had an AFC Championship rematch last night, though. It was the Chiefs at the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens at Chiefs. And it looked like Lamar Jackson really wanted that win. It looked like he was very intense. He wanted it. He needed it. It almost seemed like he had to have it, even though he told us it wasn't a big deal, which it wasn't. We're going to let Terrence tell us why the Ravens didn't pull off the win. We know that it ended up becoming a game of inches, or a toenail, I should say, as to why Isaiah Likely didn't get the win for the Ravens, or at least, get us to move further within the game. Harbaugh was going for two. Yeah. I don't know if you think that they would have gotten it or not, Pete, but I love the decision, even though I don't like John Harbaugh. I actually was like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. You don't give Pat another chance to beat you, because he will. Go for the win right here. If you don't get it, oh well, and didn't get a chance to get that far because, again, he had a toenail that's what it looked like by a toenail. He was on the line. Patrick Mahomes said he should have wore white shoes, maybe, kind of messing with him there. But I'm pretty sure he will do that the next time. T, before I even get into what Isaiah Likely said after the game, or what Lamar Jackson said after the game, just tell us about the game. Yeah. Ravens, Chiefs. What happened, man? How did your team not get that victory?
I know you talk about a script all the time. You could pretty much follow this script for the last 10, 11 times the Chiefs and the Ravens have met up. All with the exception of like one. The Chiefs win. They make a few more plays than the Ravens. And that's pretty much, not to quote Steve Austin, but that's pretty much the bottom line. Most people are going to tell you that Lamar had throws he could have made, which is not wrong. But there were plays in that game where the line, of course, in the beginning was struggling, but there were plays where the line held up, and Lamar's just dancing around in the pocket, waiting on somebody to pop open. And it was after those plays that he finally just started dancing around, scrambling, and then he started finding Likely all over the place. But the fact that the problem is that he still has to scramble around to get receivers open. They can't get open on their own for the most part, with the exception of maybe Flowers. That is, and I've talked about this for the past 3-4 years, probably longer than that for anybody that'll listen. That is still going to be a problem for the Ravens, especially against good elite defenses. And I think Kansas City played a very good defensive game, even though, Lamar kept that team in the game, almost won it for him. And also, I want to tell both of y'all, I think yesterday, the game with the Ravens and the Chiefs was very much a microcosm of the debate that y'all had. Jarvis saying that Lamar is the best player in the league, but the best MVP, but Mahomes is the best quarterback. I think that was a microcosm of that, because I don't think there's a player in the league that would have kept that Ravens team in that game, with the exception of Lamar. But he just wasn't a good enough quarterback at the very end to make throws that he needed to win the game. So I think that was a credit to the debate that y'all had, and even through a group text earlier this morning. I mean, that was it. That was it. Lamar was absolutely the best player on the field, without a doubt. But when it came time to be a quarterback, he just couldn't make those throws. And now I don't really blame him for the one Flowers, because he wasn't throwing at Flowers. And also, Antonio Brown, I don't even like to quote Antonio Brown saying anything, but he's right. when your quarterback is running around scrambling, you got to find you somewhere to sit down. Like the old folks say, sit down somewhere. You got to sit down somewhere. And those guys are just running around, and it just everybody's going different ways. It's just not going to work that way. You got to sit down somewhere. Um, the one to likely in the back of the end zone, not the actual catch, but the one that went over his head. That's the one that I wish he would have just taken his time and put it on him a little bit more.
That
Likely
was
makes that
definitely the
play.
most egregious miss.
Yeah. Other than that, man, listen, Lamar played. I don't want to call it a flawless game, but he played the best game he could play. He had his team in position to win. Bottom line is, nobody else can do that with the team with the offense that Lamar has. Nobody, no other quarterback in the game is doing that. But it's still not good enough to beat Mahomes and the Chiefs.
I disagree. I think if you were to flip those quarterbacks, I think you get the opposite result. I think you get the Ravens to win the game. I I'll tell you what I thought was while watching the game. The league should be terrified because Patrick Mahomes just learned how to read defenses. This man has 2 MVPs and 3 Super Bowls in 6 years of playing as being as a starting quarterback, and he just learned how to read defenses. When he said in the post game yesterday about how he saw the streak route, the go route to Xavier Worthy, the one that I guess really ultimately decided the game. I'm going,
Hmm.
okay, we weren't hearing that from Patrick Mahomes last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was, well, I ran out there and he was open, so I threw it to him. And now it's like, no, hold on, I saw that. I saw where he was going. I saw where that needed to be. That's disturbing. Also, Hollywood Brown didn't play last night. That's disturbing.
Right.
That's a lot of speed and a lot of talent on that team. Something that the Ravens also have. Rashad Bateman's a very good receiver. Zay Flowers is a very good receiver. Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. By the way, Tevin, we got to talk because I told you Isaiah Likely's going to get those targets. He's the guy. That's a lot of talent. I think Patrick Mahomes, being the great quarterback and the great football player that he is, could have carried that team to a win if he were the quarterback there and Lamar was the quarterback in Kansas City. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of difference there because there's the John Harbaugh and Andy Reid factors there that you gotta kind of consider,
There you
particularly with
go.
their
I was
abilities to
about to point that
call
out.
offenses. What's that?
I was just about to point that out. Like scheme is a big thing too.
Scheme is definitely a part of it for sure, but just from a talent to talent perspective, that I think Patrick Mahomes could, he could work with that and make what they've got over there work very well. I think it was actually an illustration of how great a player Patrick Mahomes is. The Chiefs defense played very well. I think the second part is that if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm a bit concerned about the offense because it seemed to be very, very predictable. If Derrick Henry's in the game, and he's dotting the I, he's probably going to get the ball. If he's not in the game, it's probably going to be a pass, in which you can turn into a Lamar run, which you can decide if that's a good or a bad thing as a defense. Um, obviously every other team that Baltimore plays won't have the talent that Kansas City has. They'll have some good games and they'll still be a very good team, but this was kind of telling. It's week one, so things can certainly change, but for me right now, it was kind of telling.
Yeah, I will say if there's anything that I would say about Derrick Henry is one, he's fine. First of all, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's older or whatever." Now, Derrick Henry is fine. The problem is, like you said, you can't just turn around and just give it to him all the time. I'm a big fan of sometimes you have to give it to him on short passes. Just you have to be a little bit more creative and a little bit less predictable than just say, "Oh, it's first down. Let me turn around and give this ball to Derrick Henry," which I thought they did a better job of later in the game as far as just having him in the game, but not just turning around and handing it to him. Uh, but that looks bad on the stat sheet at the end of the game when he only gets, like what 5 carries I think in the second half. They got a lot to figure out, but they have a lot of pieces to work with, so they'll be fine in that regard.
Okay. Guys, what I saw in this game, and I kind of agree with the both of you with your takes. However, it's just not that simple, man. I don't want to overreact to what happened with the Ravens and Chiefs. Just like I'm not going to overreact, or I didn't overreact to what the Eagles and Packers just did. Even though the Eagles do look like a damn good team, explosive offense, lot of talent. We know that. That's what the paper says, and it looks like it could definitely be a year there for Eagles. As the weeks go on, it does look like the Eagles are kind of telling everybody. And we heard you talking about the Niners going back. You're talking about the Packers, the Lions, and they're kind of singing that old Mariah Carey, saying, "Don't forget about us." That's what it looks like. But with the Ravens and Chiefs, man, I got a few bones to pick with quite a few people here. And again, really not to much fault of Lamar Jackson, but those throws toward the end of the season. I mean, toward the end of the game, he has to make those throws. He does. He just does. Okay? But outside of that, when I was watching Derrick Henry play, it looked like Derrick Henry was still with the Titans. It looked like he was still lining up behind the same trash offensive line with 8-9 in the box. And again, very predictable, as Terrence said. I didn't see a lot of good blocking. He had maybe 2-3 decent runs. One of them was for a touchdown. He didn't get a lot of carries either. I have a problem with the quarterback getting more rushing yards than the running back. I mean, like, we never said that the Ravens had a problem rushing the football. However, they went and got Derrick Henry. But if you're going to go get a Derrick Henry, it's supposed to be less running for the quarterback and more running for the running back. If Lamar doesn't do what he does with his legs, yeah, Terrence is right. This game could have been over with. It could have got ugly, before halftime. After a great first opening drive, everything was a dud after that. And it was up and down. They would make a play every now and then, but mostly it was Isaiah Likely. Zay Flowers, I ain't that impressed. I'm not sold on him. Whatever, he's fast. Okay, cool. Rashad Bateman, no. Stop it. Not a number one. None of these guys are number ones. And the way that they ran the ball, or lack thereof, with Derrick Henry, I got to take all of this back and point at the head coach, John Harbaugh, his assistants, whoever. Get them ready. What have we been doing the entire offseason? What is this? This looked like he was still running behind the Titans O-line. And I know that's the Chiefs. I know that's the Chiefs defense. But damn it, that has to get better. They've got some things to sharpen up on. And Mark Andrews, who? Isaiah Likely is the new guy in town. He's the one who's going to step up, and he's going to make all of the plays. He's the best target they have, and he just really just showed up. That's not saying much. So how is Lamar Jackson supposed to beat the boogeyman with that? This is why you can say make excuses for him, but this is why I take up for him. But now when it comes down to just playing quarterback and his arm talent, it's not good enough. Terrence, you better hope that I'm right with the gematria conspiracy theory that I have for the Baltimore Ravens possibly winning Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, as they did the last time 12 years ago when they won Super Bowl 47 in New Orleans. You better hope that hits, because Lamar Jackson can't make the throws when needed to get them to a championship. He can't do that. Sometimes Josh Allen can't either, and we're really about to find out. But I'm just saying, when you're going to play the boogeyman, to beat the boogeyman, you're going to have to make those throws. It wasn't that hard. And the last play that we got where the toenail, he was the toenail close, that far to being inbounds, but it was out of bounds. That play doesn't even have to happen if he makes the previous throws before that. And the one to Zay Flowers was terrible. That was just absolutely terrible. And then the one to Likely in the corner of the end zone, corner's back is turned. He can't see. You throw them open. You don't wait till they're open. These are the things that's where, like, realistically, if this is real, everything Nick said about the Chiefs is correct and they will three-peat. Who's going to stop them? Why the hell are we watching? And I've been saying that for years now. Why in the hell are we still watching? It's going to bore you. There's nothing that Mahomes can do that will impress you anymore, because it's like we know now, what can he do? There's nothing he can't do. So it begins to get a little dull and a little boring because the same team is winning and we want more teams to win. Just like people did when the Bulls were winning championships. Just like people did when the Patriots were winning championships. And for a moment, the Golden State Warriors. Nobody really likes dynasties. So I don't want to hear anything about how, oh, they're so entertaining and watching and this and that. Yeah, they're rock stars. It's like watching Showtime. The Lakers in the 80s. This is the Chiefs, no doubt about it. However, if Lamar Jackson is that dude, if he's him too, then you have to beat him. Same thing for Josh Allen. Same thing for all of these other quarterbacks. If you're him, you got to beat him. And at some point, you have to do it. And this was a chance for the Ravens to show it, and they didn't. They blew it. That team did not look like, I mean, it's week one again. It's week one. I get it. And the Chiefs are good. But the Chiefs, sometimes things just kind of fall their way. And teams don't just, grab the Bulls by the horn and beat them and take them out. They get a lot of calls that they probably shouldn't get. And why are we getting so many illegal shifts? Did they change the rule or something and the league hadn't figured it out? The teams haven't figured it out. What's going on with that?
Well, no, I can tell you what it is. It's not illegal shifts, it's illegal formations. What it is, the league is cracking. Yeah, what it is, they're cracking down on offensive tackles that are lining up basically in the backfield. So they're cracking down on making sure that they're at least aligned with or past the hip of the center. Well, and a lot of guys have been getting away with it for some years, and so they're cracking down on that.
Well, they're not letting them get away with it now. There has been 100 flags already, and we've only had 2 games. I mean, and tonight was ridiculous. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. All of that I said about the Baltimore Ravens, on why I don't think that they're really a Super Bowl team, here's the trap. And I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid like a lot of people are out there doing right now. Last year, and a lot of years, the team that win the Super Bowl usually don't win the opening night. Last season, the Chiefs did not win. They still won the Super Bowl. But it didn't look like they were a Super Bowl team, but they still won the Super Bowl. Last night, they looked like a Super Bowl team already, right out the gate. Fast guy, worthy, touchdowns galore, speed. Oh, man, it looks like they're going to win. Well, me knowing what I know, I'm going to go on a limb and say that, yeah, if any team can three-peat, realistically, it's the Chiefs. But I think they want us to think it will be the Chiefs. All of the criticism that Lamar is getting, the Ravens losing to the Chiefs first game of the year, that's what they lost to the Chiefs the last game of last year. Back-to-back games, they cannot beat the Chiefs. That's what it looks like, right? I'm not saying they're going to beat the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl, but the Chiefs beating the Ravens last night tells me that my gematria conspiracy theory just may be right. They don't want you to bet on the Ravens right now. And they want to just kind of like take a dump on them right now. I think the Ravens are going to be fine. It was week one. You will see Derrick Henry running over people soon to come. It's coming. Lamar Jackson, lighter. He will continue to do what he did, and it will look even better and even more amazing because it won't be the champs. It won't be the boogeyman. And let's put some respect on Steve Spagnuolo's name too, can we? Because we don't really give him his flowers. He's been doing this for a long time. The guy that beat the 18 Patriots in 2007. He's responsible for that. Let's put some respect on his name. He's always coaching good defenses. But anyway, I think the Ravens, and I'm going to wrap it up, I think the Ravens are still probably going to be in the Super Bowl. And this is a trap where they don't want you to think that. That's why they had them open the season and lose to the Chiefs again. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens win 10 straight here. Oh, I won't be surprised if it's kind of a rocky road and then they crawl into the playoffs and just go on the road and beat every damn body. Just do the opposite of everything that they thought Lamar Jackson and the Ravens would do. It's just something about John Harbaugh. Every time he's about to get fired, he wins the championship or they do something miraculously to save his job, like Lamar did in 2018 when he took over, So that's just my take on it. Again, because I'm not overreacting. The Ravens will be fine. That is the Chiefs. But Lamar, you got to make those throws, guy. You got to. I would get on Dak if it was him. I would get on Josh Allen if it was him. I have to get on you. As much as I have been having your back, you got to make those damn throws. Do they make the 2-point conversion? That I don't know. But that was a gutsy call. But again, some of the things that I saw with the running game and the plays, the play calling, it looks like Greg Roman is still the OC. Todd Monken is not that good either. This is all on John Harbaugh. What the hell does he do? He was a special teams coach with the Philadelphia Eagles. What's his philosophy? What is this team about? Just we're tough, we're mean, we're physical. Ugh. All right. The boogeyman don't care about that. They've got 2 good tight ends. They've got 3 good receivers. They got a running back. We ain't even talking about Pacheco. Andy Reid's the GOAT. Him and Baby Goat are already looking better than Brady and Belichick, and they're just getting started, it looks like it. But because they're doing what they're doing and they're playing what they're playing, I'm going to say that they want you to think the Chiefs are going to win, and it may not be this year. All right? Good games, though. They were pretty good. Good ending last night with the Ravens and Chiefs. And then this one still came down to the final play, even though we kind of knew the Packers wasn't getting no Hail Mary on that last play against the Eagles. So that does it for the games that have been played already. Guys, let's quickly run down about 4 games at least. We'll end with Jets and Niners on Monday night. We got the Rams and Lions on Sunday night. I think that people should watch out with the Bears being 3.5 favorites on the Titans. The Titans have Tyler Boyd from Cincinnati. They got D-Hop. They've got Calvin Ridley. D-Hop may be out, I'm not sure, but they still got Calvin Ridley. They added Snead in the secondary. Tony Pollard's in the backfield. I don't know. The Titans very well could win 9 games. They very well could win this game here in Chicago if it's not pouring down or some type of monsoon. Watch out for that 4.5, though. I would take the points. All right. Atlanta and Buffalo, I just want to quickly say watch out for that game, too, because Buffalo still may be a wild card team this season, but Atlanta's going to be one, too, if not better. I think Atlanta is going to sneak in and probably get the upset. I don't know what the spread is, but watch out for Atlanta and Buffalo. Now, so the games that I want to ask you guys your thoughts on, let's quickly talk about, and Dallas and Cleveland. That's another good one. Let's start with them. Just a few games for Sunday, the big ones.
All right. Well,
Dallas at Cleveland
I'll
on
get
Sunday.
going with that. Yeah, I'll get going with that. I think we also saw this game last year, and Dallas didn't do so well in that game, right? Is
Say
this
that
a game
again,
that we
T.
saw? Did these 2 teams play last year, and Dallas didn't do so well with them?
I do not recall.
I'm not sure if they
I
played
can't remember.
last year.
I can't recall exactly. Um, but I'm actually going to stick with Cleveland on this because I think that Dallas's strengths play into Cleveland's strengths on defense. We know that Dallas wants to air it out. Dak might wind it up and throw it 40 times. And when you have to throw it 40 times, man, at some point, Miles Garrett is going to have to pay you a visit. And that dude, to me, is the best pass rusher in the game. Does anybody disagree with that?
Best pass rusher in the game
Yeah,
over
Miles
Michael
Garrett.
Parsons and T.J. Watt.
Yes, definitely over Michael
Over Michael
Parsons.
Parsons. Yeah.
Yes, definitely over Michael
All right,
Parsons.
if you
So
say so,
yes,
I ain't gonna
yes,
argue that.
I'm rolling with Cleveland on it.
I'm going with Cleveland also. I'm not sure where that game's being played, but either way, I would feel good about Cleveland in that game.
It's in Cleveland.
I think Cleveland is a sleeper pick this year, provided that Deshaun Watson is avoiding massage parlors and keeping himself together. I think considering the success we saw them have with about 4 or 5 different quarterbacks last year, if Deshaun can be 60%, 70% of what he was in Houston and what they were hoping to get when they traded for him, I think you can see a very good Cleveland team this year and a very good Cleveland team this Sunday.
Yeah, I got Cleveland as well. I think it's a mismatch
Wow.
problem for Dallas at times. I really do think they create a lot of mismatches, and we'll see. I think it's going to turn into a beatdown in Cleveland. But again, since we all pick Cleveland, we're probably going to be wrong. The Cowboys are probably going to win, but I'm
Yep.
going with the Browns also.
Yep.
All right. What about the Rams at Lions on Sunday night? This is a rematch from last year's game in the wild card. I mean, the divisional round where the Rams. No,
Right.
it was the wild card. The
Rams
came in
at
versus
Lions,
the Lions.
aka the Matt Stafford Jared Goff Bowl.
Yeah, Stafford coming back in there again. He just did it in the playoffs, but
Yeah,
they came up short last year in the wild card game. Nick, we'll start with you since it's NFC. Who you like Sunday night? Rams and Lions.
I like Rams in the upset. I think there'll be an upset in that one. I'm pretty sure the Lions are the favorite team there. I'm gonna take the Rams in the upset. I think the Rams are gonna be another one of those surprise teams this year, not unlike the Browns that I just mentioned. Matt Stafford certainly hasn't had quite the same problems that Deshaun Watson has had. They did have some strange comments made by his wife. I don't know if y'all remember seeing that, but that was interesting. Um, Anywho, I got the Rams winning this game and a good one for sure. Definitely expect a good game, but I think the Rams defense is going to be better than people expect. Considering obviously this is going to be without Aaron Donald this year. Um, but I think the Rams will be a good team. I think the Rams will get it done on Sunday. In a good close game. I'd say maybe about 3 points.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take the team with the high-powered offense going against the team who just lost their best defensive player, who was one of the best defensive players of all time. Give me the team with the high-powered offense. I'm going with the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions too on this one. I like the Rams this season, but the Rams have quite a few corners on injured reserve, or just went on injured reserve that I saw this week. And as much as I think the Rams will have a better season, or just as good as last season, if not better, not week one. I'm going to be picking the Lions this week and a lot of weeks to come this season. So yeah, give me the Lions. Is there another big one for Sunday? Keep in mind, too, ladies and gentlemen, that there's some calf tightness going on for Russell Wilson. So he very well could uh, be playing. He very well could not be playing on Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. Not the Atlanta Falcons. It is the Falcons.
It is the Falcons. Yeah, they playing the Falcons.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is the Steelers and Falcons. I'm sorry. Who did I say that Buffalo is playing? No, it's Arizona. Is it Arizona and Buffalo?
You got Jacksonville and Miami.
I guess. Yeah, that
I
sounds
don't know how
like
you feel about it. I just thought I'd toss it out there. Arizona's
it.
playing Buffalo, I think is what you were trying to say there. Raiders
Who's
and
playing Buffalo?
Chargers.
Who's playing Buffalo?
Arizona.
That's who I meant to say. Watch out for Arizona upsetting Buffalo. That's what I meant to say. Watch out for that one. I'm taking Arizona. But back to the
I would also take Arizona.
Steelers. Back to the Steelers and Falcons. Justin Fields is going to play. He's going to have to at some point. I don't know exactly will he start or not, but he will actually be getting some reps. There are some rumors that he actually could be on the field even when Russell Wilson is on the field. I'm interested in seeing that. I thought Garoppolo and Trey Lance should have both played at times. Just switch it out. Defenses would have been crazy. Like, what the hell? What the hell is going on here? But Jimmy Garoppolo said it's messing up my rhythm, and it rhythm his ass right onto injury reserve, and still being a backup quarterback like he belongs right now. But I'm just saying that's neither here nor there. Watch out for the Steelers game with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. The NFL
Texans
really
and Colts opening with a division matchup.
Colts and Texans.
Yep, Texans at Colts to be exact. And got the Texans as 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to take the points, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts actually squeak in the upset. I like the Texans this year, but this is week one. Some crazy things are going to happen Sunday. And I am a
Yep.
huge fan of Shane Steichen and what he does to quarterbacks, how he helps them, the whole developmental thing. I think that Richardson, coming off of an injury, he could be comeback player of the year. Watch out for the Colts. All right, I'm going to take the Colts in the upset probably. 2.5 on the road. Yeah, I don't know about that one. What else you got, Nick?
I'm gonna take
Yeah,
the
I was going to
Texans
say
to
I'll
win that
also
one.
take the Colts.
I'm gonna take the Texans to win it. But the points could be, even with it only being a 2.5 spread, the points could be tough. You might be sweating at the end of that one for sure.
Yeah, I'll also take the
What else you
Colts.
got? Any more? Any
Like you
other
said,
games?
Jarvis, this week one, some crazy things have to happen.
Yeah.
Not much past that. I know you kind of didn't seem too excited about Jaguars and Dolphins. You got Titans at Bears, the debut of Caleb Williams.
Game again, 4.5, 3.5. Don't trust me. The Titans aren't
What?
that bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the Dolphins over the Jags. I guess I'll take the
I will
Dolphins.
as well.
Yeah.
Vikings at
No,
Giants, Panthers at Saints, Raiders at Chargers, Broncos at Seahawks,
The
Commanders
Broncos.
at Bucks. Yeah, that's about all. There's
Bucks.
really
That's
an
not.
interest there.
That'll be interesting to see Jaden Daniels and the Commanders and see what they do in Tampa.
Yes, that's a
Give me
good
the
matchup
Commanders.
for them.
I'll take the Commanders in an upset against the Buccaneers. There was another one that you said that I think. Who was that you just said? You kind of ran through them, but Minnesota.
Broncos and Seahawks.
No, I like Minnesota on the road against the Giants also.
Yeah, Broncos and Seahawks.
Yeah, so do I.
Bengals and Seahawks?
Broncos.
Broncos and Seahawks. Oh, give me Seattle. I'm hearing they're going to be very aggressive on defense this year, and it's going to be at home in Seattle. And
gets the rookie quarterback debuting, Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is going to struggle a little bit, I would say. If he doesn't, then hey, we'll come back and talk about that on another episode. But yeah, I'm going to take Seattle on that one. The NFC West is going to be a lot better than what people think, and yeah. I like everybody winning in the West, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I took the Seahawks to win that division, so I got to take them.
Like Seahawks and Cardinals, though. Yeah, for this week. All right, so that pretty much should get us done. Monday night, Jets, 49ers. Are the Jets really as good as everybody says they are? Do you buy into the hype? Is this it? Is there pressure for Aaron Rodgers? They're talking Super Bowl or bust already. Let's start with Terrence. This is a team that he may have to face to get to the Super Bowl. Terrence, do you buy?
Yeah, I'm actually. Yeah, I don't know what the spread is. I haven't looked at it, but I'm actually taking the Jets to win this game. I think that defensively they are definitely good enough to cause problems. But I think that Aaron Rodgers, again, this is all contingent of if he actually wants to play football and is not trying to be some kind of a conspiracy theorist politician. If he actually comes out and wants to play football, that means he's had a whole year to pretty much study and prepare for this game. Essentially, this one game. And
Yeah.
you talk about Nick talking. Excuse me. Talking about Mahomes just learning how to read defense as well. Aaron Rodgers is very much still a Jedi wizard when it comes to the reading of the defenses. And for him to have so much time to prepare for one game, we might actually have a vintage throwback Aaron Rodgers game, and it's going to create a whole lot of chatter of, oh, is he back? Or, that we'll hear that bad man and all of that. But I think coming out of that game, we're going to see a performance from Aaron Rodgers that we haven't seen in a very long time.
I agree with you. I'm taking the Jets as well. They are 4.5-point underdogs on the road there to answer your question. But I'm taking the Jets as well. I think provided that Aaron Rodgers is ready to roll, ready to play ball, and the Achilles stuff behind him and everything else. Even with whatever conditions Achilles is in, as long as he can still play, that's how I check your Achilles ain't got nothing to do with your arm. Got nothing to do with your brain, and both of those things have worked very well for Aaron Rodgers for a long time, and he's certainly got probably one of the best cast of weapons he's had in quite a few years. I think he's motivated to show that he's still got it. And sorry, Jarvis, it might not be a good day for you. It might not be too much bang bang niner gang going on in the Jeffries household.
I don't say that crap anymore. But guys, this is another game where we're going to agree again on the three-way straight. I got the Jets win too. At 4.5, I thought that was too damn high. I don't really like the 49ers defense this year coming in. I don't know what to think about the coordinators on the defensive side. They're a little thin inside now that Eric Armstead is gone, and they didn't really replace him. The offensive line is pretty bad. Trent Williams just showed up. BA just showed up. Yeah, it could get out to a rocky start in Santa Clara, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets win. I damn sure don't want to, I damn sure wouldn't think the 49ers would cover. I'm not taking them to. Watch the points. The Niners could still win by a field goal since it's 4.5, but I'm going to go with whatever the plus is and say the Jets are going to win. So no problem here, man. And you're going to hear me picking against the Niners a lot this year because I don't know. I don't think this season is going to be as good as everybody thinks it is. It will be. Again, we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I'm taking the Jets too. That's all I got. And talking about the 49ers, we're at 49 minutes. It's time for us to go ahead and get out of here then. We've did enough. We will come back and recap Sunday's games as soon as we can. Sunday night, early Monday, you will be getting a full rundown on week 1 and all the action. I'm sure it's going to be good. I can't wait to check out a lot of these teams. I can't wait to see Aaron Jones in Minnesota and Sam Darnold starting for a change. I can't wait to see if Tua is going to back up some of this talk because as much as I like to kind of go for the Dolphins and cheer for him, Tua, he's did a little bit much here this offseason. And Brian Flores was not right for doing the things that he might have did to Tua, but it was also not right for him to put that out and put him on blast like that. I also heard him talking about how he's been knowing he's that guy. He's an X factor. Man, you ain't an X factor until you can win a damn playoff game. Till you can win some games in the cold. Prove all of that and be quiet for a minute, Tua. Just had to say that. And Justin Herbert. I can't wait to see Justin Herbert and the Chargers. This is a prove-it year to me for Justin Herbert, for Trevor Lawrence, for Deshaun Watson. These guys need to show me, who are you? Are you what the contract says you are? And if so, prove it. Win some games. Beat the boogeyman. Let's go. So I can't wait to see Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers do their thing. It's going to be a great, interesting week 1. And we may go live. I may go live and see if these guys are available, and I may get them to chime in. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to have double screens going, games everywhere galore. We'll see how it goes. But we definitely will come back and recap everything after Sunday night's games. Rams and Lions. That's going to be a good one. I promise you that. That's going to be a good one. All right, that's it. We're done. Jets and Niners Monday night. Congratulations again, Eagles. Nick, your Eagles are 1-0. Terrence, his team starts off 0-1. It usually kind of flip-flops, though, as the season progresses, as the way goes to, with how it goes. We'll see. My team, it's always pretty much the same thing. We're consistent. We're a good 12, 13-win team, baby. And we're going to be a great number 2 in the end. That's what it is. It's pretty much the podcast in here. All right. Thank you, guys. I think we had a great show. Appreciate it. And we're going to sign off here. We'll be back for the next one. Our eyes are really heavy here on a late Friday night.
Yes.
Yes. So we're going to go ahead and close them. Y'all have a good evening and be safe out there.
Bird gang.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace.